Hello, my name's Josh Tompkins. I'm a firefighter first class for the city of Clarksburg, and I'm also a student in the paramedic program at Pierpont Community and Technical College. In this video, we're going to explore scene size-up. Scene size-up is an essential part of every emergency call we will go on. The decisions we make during our size-up will affect the way the rest of the call progresses. These same decisions will keep ourselves and our crew and bystanders safe from harm. The size-up may be the first component of our assessment, but it is always ongoing because the scene can change at any time during the call. We must stay vigilant and always be aware of our surroundings. This is known as situational awareness and is a critical skill for any emergency responder to possess. The size-up should begin as soon as we receive the initial dispatch. Once those tones drop, we should be making considerations and decisions. For example, when we get dispatched to the intersection of busy interstate number 99 and busy state route number 33, we should automatically be thinking about the best route to get there, taking weather into account. What time of day is it? What will the traffic volume be at the time of day? And how many vehicles are involved? And what kind of vehicles are involved? For instance, is this a tractor trailer full of hazardous materials versus a school bus full of children with full entrapment? Or is it a simple fender bender between two passenger cars with no reported injuries? We must take considerations en route to the scene. Sometimes we'll get great information from the initial dispatch. Sometimes we get horrible information. It all depends, but no matter what information we receive, we should be making considerations and decisions on our way out the door. Taking these considerations into account while en route allows us to prepare a game plan for treatment before we ever arrive. We can plan on what equipment we'll need to take in with us, and hopefully we'll have a good idea of what to expect. As we approach the accident or scene, we should be scanning with our eyes, looking for hazards, patients, anything else that might give us clues as to what happened, or anything that might be a danger to ourselves and our crew. Stop to survey the scene before proceeding. Our safety is paramount and rule number one. We are no good to our patients if we turn ourselves into patients too. If it appears safe to pull up, then we may pull up and properly position our apparatus. At this point, we should communicate a windshield size up to dispatch. This is a brief description of exactly everything we can see from the seat in the apparatus. This not only lets dispatch know we are on scene, but also informs any additional units that are en route what to expect upon their arrival. Remember, just because it appears safe at this point doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. Situational awareness is key. Head on a swivel. Things can change drastically very fast. ALS engine 241 is on scene. 2-vehicle MVC, T-bone type collision, heavy damage. Northbound lanes are blocked. Appears patients still in the vehicles. Unknown entrapment. Stand by for further. That's an example of a windshield size up. Dispatch will confirm the transmission by repeating the information and time-stamping the radio traffic. This allows additional responding units 2 opportunities to hear the size up. Then they may also make informed decisions for their approach. Now's the fun part. BSI, body substance isolation. We don our gloves and glasses at a minimum. Depending on what kind of scene we're on, we may need reflective vests, hard hats, gowns, possibly HEPA or N95 respirators. Then we'll carefully dismount the apparatus. Maintaining situational awareness, we continue to scan the scene for hazards and clues. Are there down power lines? Is there a hazardous materials leak? We must remain on the lookout for any hazards, including weapons, electrical hazards, thermal hazards, and chemical hazards. What's the environment like? What's the time of day? Are there hostile individuals around? Are there bystanders who might be able to lend a hand, give us history on the scene, what happened? What's the ambient temperature outside? Might we be looking at heat-related injuries, cold-related injuries? And finally, how much room do we have to work? Okay, is this scene or situation safe? As we scan for clues, we can begin to form an opinion on mechanism of injury or nature of illness. In the example of the car accident, we can look at the windshield for starring, which is a good indicator that a patient has hit their head on the windshield. A bent steering wheel is a great indicator that the driver may have suffered serious internal injuries as a result of the impact. Is there full airbag deployment? How badly are the vehicles damaged? Are passengers outside the vehicle walking around, or are they trapped inside screaming in pain? By this time, we should have a good idea of how many patients we have and can call for additional resources as needed. We may need additional ambulance crews, we may need the fire department, we may need police for traffic control. We may need the hazmat regional response team, among others. The visual clues we interpret can help us make decisions on taking spinal precautions for the patient. Always follow your local protocols when deciding whether or not to immobilize your patient. So let's review. Always use standard precautions. At the minimum, gloves and glasses. Use the appropriate PPE or personal protective equipment for the scene we're on. Our safety is number one. Be sure the scene is safe. Stop short and view that scene with binoculars if necessary. A big cloud of gas could quickly turn us into patients, or worse, if we get tunnel vision and rush right in. Determine the mechanism of injury or the nature of illness. In the auto accident example, there will be 3 impacts. The first is when the vehicle strikes the other vehicle. The second is when the passenger collides with the interior of the vehicle. And the third is when internal organs collide with each other or other bodily structures within the body. There is potential for trauma that's not readily visible. Determine the number of patients using your visual clues. Call for any additional needed resources as soon as possible. And finally, make decisions on taking spinal immobilization precautions for your patient according to your local protocols. Scene size up is the first component of the assessment, but it is ongoing for the duration of the call. Scene safety can change instantly. Situational awareness is key. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, the primary survey.